folks, welcome to a new week of Stay Home Get Ripped quarantine workouts. Thanks for staying healthy with us. I'm Colby from Mitten Fitness. Today you're going to need one or two heavy objects if you've got them. Two equally heavy objects, but we can get by with just one, and a timer. We do have timer apps recommended below in our description. Check those out, make your life easier. All right, let's get to a warm-up. For today's warm-up, we've got some new movements, so bear with me. We're doing 3 rounds of these, and each of these we're doing 3 reps of. So first we've got upward to downward facing dog with some toe touches. That's gonna look like this. I would go ahead and start in your upward dog with your arms straight, and then push up into that downward dog. With the downward dog, you're trying to get the heels flush to the ground, hip and butt high, arms are straight as well. And then from there, you're going to do some 2 toe touches, touching the opposite foot. So right hand, left foot, left hand, left foot, back down into upward facing dog, back to downward dog. 1, 2. So each of those from upward to downward to 2 toe touches is 1 rep. 3 times. 3 of those. The second movement is a little more complicated, a shin box. I'll admit right now, it's gonna depend on your level of flexibility in the hips. But basically start in this position. You bring the inside of your right knee to the ground, fold over as much as you can, within reason. Back up, left inside knee to the ground, and fold. Terrible on my left side. And back to the right, fold, back to the left, fold.
You're doing a great job.
Good luck with those. Okay. Really wakes up those hips. 3 of those. Right knee, left knee is 1 rep. Then you're going to do 3 single leg RDL hand switches. That's where the heavy object comes into play. Hopefully not too heavy. But you're going to get in that single leg Romanian deadlift position and just hand that back and forth, trying to keep balance. 3 times. And then switch legs. Again, keeping that balance. So 3 times back and forth to each hand, and on each leg. Then go back to the top until you've done 3 rounds of all 3 movements. At the very end, you're going to do 30 jumping jacks. At the very end, you're going to do 30 jumping jacks. Jumping jacks look like this. 30 of those. After that, you're going to do 20 up, downs, or squat thrusts. Those look like this. Arms straight and down, plank out, hop back in, and up. 10 of those. Jumping jacks look like this. 30 of those. All right, so that's 3 rounds total of 3 reps of upward to downward facing dog with toe touches, 3 shin boxes and forward folds, basically right knee to the ground, left knee to the ground, right knee to the ground, left knee to the ground, right knee to the left to the ground. And then the single leg Romanian deadlift hand switches, 3 reps each leg. And then once you've done 3 rounds of all of that, 30 jumping jacks, and you're warmed up, and then you're finding me back here for strength. Thanks so much. Welcome back from that warm-up. Today's strength has some new movements. It's a double superset. We've got the first superset has A-frame or pike push-ups. 4 sets of 12 to 15 each. I'll show you those guys. Then we have, all these movements, by the way, are separated by 30 seconds of rest. Then we have a 2-way suitcase lunge. 4 sets of 6 to 8 each side on those. I'll show you those as well. Those are the 2 new movements. Actually, there's one more. Rest for 30 seconds, go back up to the A-frame, pike push-ups through both of those movements until you've done them each 4 times. On that last 2-way suitcase lunge, you're going to rest for 30 seconds and go right into the next superset of gorilla rows. You've done those before with us. 4 sets of 12 to 15 each arm with a 3-second descent. So slow tempo, going back down to the ground with those rows. And then rest 30 seconds, go into an adductor plank. This is a new move. I'll show you that for 20 seconds each on the adductor planks, 4 sets of those. Back up to the gorilla rows and through both of those movements until you've done them both 4 times through. Alright, so for the movements, the A-frame or kind of pike push-up from the ground, I'll show you. That is going to involve getting in kind of that downward dog position, making the A-frame with your body, and then driving that forehead to the ground, keeping the hips locked in that A position, and bringing that forehead to the ground and back up. Keeping it tight, really focusing on kind of the top of those shoulders, more of that press movement, very much akin to the pike push-up, just not on a box, not elevated with the feet. All right, so 4 sets of those, 12 to 15 each on the repetitions, resting 30 seconds, going into a 2-way suitcase lunge. Whatever your heavy object, whether it's a kettlebell or a dumbbell, we're going to want that in the opposite hand of the leg that's lunging. And what we're going to do, it's a 2-way lunge. You're going forward with it, back up, keeping that midline stable, then going to the side with it, and back up. Okay, so it's forward, to the side, forward and lateral, basically lunges with each leg. You're doing 6 to 8 reps. Do them all one side, then do the other side, then rest for 30 seconds. All right. After that last round of those, you're going to rest for 30 seconds and go into those gorilla rows. That's where it's a little more convenient to have 2 equally heavy objects than just one, but we can easily get by with one. With the gorilla rows, you get down into that kind of squatted position and stay there just low enough to reach those weights, keeping that midline stable while you row. And it's kind of more convenient to open that palm up as you row. You'll find you can do it this way as well, it just depends. I like to rotate the palm out on these. So from the front it'll look like that. And if you have 2 weights, you can just alternate them. Oh, and remember, these are 3-second descents. So bring it up, normal pace, 1, 2, 3, down. Up, 1, 2, 3, down. 12 to 15 reps each side. And as you can see, you're kind of staying in that gorilla position the whole time. Gorilla rows, rest 30 seconds after those. Into the adductor, ADD, adductor plank. All right, so adductor plank, you're gonna get, this is gonna be full arm plank. You're gonna get into that side plank position, but instead of stacking the feet, you're gonna have that outside foot planted and raise that inside leg out and hold the plank. So it's really working that inside of the leg that's planted. In this case, my right leg, working the inside of that leg, the adductor. And we're holding for 20 seconds on these and switching sides. 20 seconds each side, then rest for 30 seconds, back up to those gorilla rows. All right. Press pause. Have fun with these movements. I'll see you right back here for conditioning. All right, good job on that strength. Welcome back to conditioning. Today we've got 5 rounds of 4 movements. First movement's gonna be single arm power snatches. You're doing 5 reps of each of these movements, by the way. So 5 single arm power snatches. Then you're gonna go into 5 single arm dumbbell clusters, which is a clean and a thruster combined. I'll show you that. Then you're gonna do 5 single leg dumbbell Romanian deadlifts. We're not done with those Romanians. And then 5 goblet squats. Now you're gonna do each side for the round, but you're gonna go through one side completely and then switch hands and do the other side. Then after the end of the first round and each round thereafter, you're gonna rest 90 seconds to 120 seconds or 2 minutes between the 5 rounds, okay? So you're doing 5 of each side on those first 3 movements, as well as 5 goblet squats at the bottom, at the end of each movement to complete a round, okay? Hopefully that made sense. I'll say it again later. All right, so the single arm power snatches. We've done these before. Power means from the ground, okay? So bring your butt down with that stable midline. Object is between the legs, and just the front of that dumbbell needs to touch the ground. And we are going to power snatch that up. Down, up, down, shrug it up. Down, shrug it up. All right? Single arm dumbbell power snatch. After those dumbbell power snatches, you go into a single arm dumbbell cluster. Cleaning the dumbbell first, then going into a thruster. So we're gonna clean it from between the legs. Again, midline stable. We're nice low enough to grab this dumbbell. Clean it up. Down into a squat. Thrust it up, okay? I'll show you again. Clean, go. Now when you're doing these cycled, it'll look a little faster. Like that. 5 dumbbell clusters. Then we're going into single leg dumbbell Romanian deadlifts. We just did a version of that in the strength, okay? So if the weight's in your right hand, your right leg is free. Down, up. Slight bend in that knee, up. Up. Okay? Single leg dumbbell Romanian deadlift. And then we've got 5 goblet squats. Boom. Find that squat stance. Butt back first, hips down. Back and down, parallel or below, back up, goblet, dumbbells in the nice racked position for those goblet squats. After those goblet squats, you go to the opposite side and do 5 reps of each movement, 5 more goblet squats, and that's your round. Okay? Then you'll have 4 more rounds. All right, press pause. Have fun with this one. It's a little varied. Total body. Should be a blast. Don't forget to rest 90 to 120 seconds between each round. Press pause, go to it. We'll see you here for a cool down. Welcome back for the cool down. We've got 2 different movements for cool down. One's going to be the lizard pose. And we're going to do 30-second holds for each side I'll show you the lizard pose in a second, and then we're going to do a scorpion stretch, and that's again going to be 30 seconds each side, just kind of resting and stretching in those. I'll also show you the dynamic version of that in case you just want to go dynamic back and forth. All right, for that lizard pose, you're going to get down on the ground. You're going to have your right leg is forward, left hand on the ground. You're going to grab that left foot with your right hand. And then you're going to kind of ease forward, stretching that hip flexor area and that quad attachment, and just kind of leaning forward into that. Now you can gradually hold and breathe, and every time you exhale, try to stretch a little further for 30 solid seconds. Or you, again, can go dynamic with that and release the tension, go back in. Trying to get a deeper stretch, though, each time on that hip flexor front area. I'll do it with the opposite leg. You might get a better view. So again, grabbing your right foot with your left hand and just bringing that left foot forward so that you can kind of lean in and stretch that hip flexor area. Really good quad stretch here too. And if you can, bring that chest up high. And again, you can either do that static, trying to stretch a little deeper each breath, or releasing and dynamically going deeper. So that is the lizard pose. The second one is the scorpion stretch. Some of you might be familiar with this one. Basically laying on your stomach for this. Your arms are out just above 90. And then let's start with the left leg. You're going to bring that left foot over the back, and you should feel a stretch in your right shoulder, and then a kind of an opening up of your thoracic area. And you don't want to touch the ground with this. You just want to let it hover. You get a little more of a stretch out of it that way. And again, you can hold these for 30 seconds. Or if you want, you can do these dynamically by rotating each side. Just make sure those arms are straight, slightly above 90 with those hands, arms, and really feeling that stretch. Keeping that leg hovering, not touching the ground with that foot. Scorpion stretch. So 30 seconds each side of those, about a minute total time for each of those movements. That's your cool down. After that, you can do the shutdown challenge, or you can fast forward through this cool down, do the shutdown challenge, then come back and do the cool down. Might be better. Anyway, that's April 2nd for you. Have a great day, you guys. Hey folks, really appreciate you tuning in. Please do us a favor, press that like button, subscribe, find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram, like us, follow us. Stay healthy.